Homestead. Welcome back to the ramshackle barn we call the rabbitry, or part of it. This is the red building. You heard us talking about the red building. We're in the red building. We call it the red building, well, because it's red. If you can tell, it's not red in here. It's kind of a spider web. That would be the color in here, probably. Cobweb color. Folks, I have to start off this video, I'm afraid, with some bad news. Little Fiona, bless her heart, she gave birth to a litter of babies here a few days ago. And I don't know, they were about a day old, I guess, and we had a real cold snap. I guess she got confused, you know, it was her first litter, and she pulled more fur to put over them because it was getting cooler that night. But somehow when she put them in the nest, she put it over here, and the babies were over there. So they didn't get covered up with it. They didn't benefit from it. And she only had 2 babies anyway. And what did she have to start out with? 3 and then the peanut dad?
Yeah, I think so.
So she had 2 left. So a lot of times 1 or 2 babies, if it starts getting cooler, is not enough to generate enough heat to keep the nest warm to where they can all stay warm anyway. But had she gotten that fur over the top of them, I think they might have been okay. It just didn't happen.
She's a sweetheart.
But she's a cutie. She's been, it's been a few days and she's been bred back. She's bred to tag along, even though he doesn't throw a blue, but that's okay because she's a chocolate. Okay, and Tagalong throws some excellent chocolates. And so we'll just see what happens there. She has been rebred to him. Now the way we do this, these cages here have nest boxes on them. And what we'll do is we've got other cages and we kind of rotate them out and keep the rabbits in these cages that need nest boxes. So she'll probably have to give way to somebody else. Wait.
I'm with you.
Me too.
Wait.
Why is that cage empty?
What cage empty? It's not empty. She's in the nest box. What are you doing?
This is not Fiona.
That's not Fiona. This is Fiona. I don't know.
Oh, she looks chocolate down in the hole.
Come
here, sugar.
I don't know who that is. So.
This is Sarah.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. Allie named them all, so.
Yeah, well.
I don't know.
Oh, come here, sugar. No, this is our castor doe. This is the one that I was telling just in the last video, the end of it, that she's due this weekend. She's due. This is Thursday. She's due Saturday.
Yay!
Hey, sweetheart. I thought you was a different bunny. Well, that kind of looked like chocolate down in that dark nest box.
I was confused. Like, wait a minute. I was looking at this one. I was like, who's this then?
Okay. Well, anyway, this is Sarah, and she is due to have us a litter of babies this weekend, and it'll be her first litter. She's out of, well, Morgan's over here behind the camera, but she's out of Carmel, obviously. She's a castor. She turned out to be a pretty nice looking castor, and she's been bred back to Carmel, and we're going to see what kind of castor we get out of that. Okay, so now,
you want to switch gears over here?
Since I've already mentioned Fiona, let me jump over here. This is Fiona. Come here, sugar. Come here, sugar. Bless her heart. But I pretty much already told you what I needed to tell you about her, but come here, sugar. Isn't she pretty? Look at this fur. Isn't she so pretty? And she's bred to tag along. Look at those shoulders. Yeah, look at those shoulders. Yep. Yep.
My daddy, you don't even know your baby's name.
Well, I knew you were here somewhere. Yes, I knew you were here somewhere. Oh, yeah. But folks, do you see the tendency here? I look in this ear and I see an H in this ear. And do you see what cage she came out of? Do you think that just happened? It did just happen, but everything happens for a reason, right? But no, this is Hershey's baby, and she's using what was long and forever seems like Hershey's cage. Hop in there, sugar. We still miss Hershey, but you know what? Fiona is so much like her mama. She's a little shorter in body and much denser in fur, but when it comes to temperament and being so cute and lovable, she's just so much like her mama. I wouldn't be surprised if you don't catch me calling her Hershey at some point. It would just you know how old people in their mind, they get kind of scatterbrained, you know. It's kind of like where you have, you know, multiple children and you call one by the other one's name and vice versa. Yeah, that happens. Okay. And I'm going to pretend I didn't see those dirty looks from behind the camera, Miss Rebecca.
Yeah.
Okay, now, just be glad I called you Allie and not Austin.
I know, right?
Of course, Austin is a handsome guy. He gets it from his daddy, but still, yeah, Becca don't want to look like him. This is Delilah. Her babies are growing up big and strong. They've all got their eyes open, have had for a while now. I think they're pushing, I don't know, three weeks, maybe even a month now.
This one's still my favorite because of the color.
Well, I like the little broken chocolate myself.
I
I'm not real sure at this point. We will probably be letting most of these go. As far as colors and things and what have you, I just don't think that there's anything here really that I need, you know, to improve the line with. And I just kept several new youngsters, and I want to, let's see, I've got, well, Tapping Delilah, there's Fiona, Sarah, of course Ebony's still around there, and there's Cherry. I've got all these young does. I really don't need to keep any right now, you know. Now if something particularly nice catches my eye, I might hang on to it just to start looking at what we might want to take to show next spring, but I don't know. Of course, we're always on the lookout, but I just don't think that I'm gonna. If I keep one or two out of this whole entire round, that would probably be about it. We're not gonna show a lot of rabbits in the spring. Of course, we've got what? 3 different breeds now, 2 different, and how many different varieties? I mean, you know, I just can't keep rabbits from every variety, especially in the mini Rex. We will probably keep some from every variety currently in the New Zealand, at least until we get to the point where we want to have, where we have the number of breeding animals that we want to have. But let's see, where's the little broken chocolate? This the one I just had?
think so, yeah.
Oh.
That one looks pretty, yeah.
Let's see, this chocolate is really pretty. Look at that chocolate on the ears. Now this right here looks a little washed out, but I think he's in the process of molting a little bit or something. But he's not going to have the best chocolate color has not come from Blueberry, but these are sired from Jet. You know, she's sired by Blueberry, but she was sired by Jet, and he has the capability of throwing some pretty nice chocolate, as does his grandmother and his father. But Tag, far and away, has thrown the best chocolate color of any buck that we've had. You know, and we've bred him to, at least at the time, at least, to just about every doe we had, and he turned out some really, really nice chocolates. But chocolate and black is pretty much the only thing we can get with him. So he will be held back for certain does, and then there will be others that would be Jet. I may at some point in the future keep a nice blue buck, maybe a broken blue buck to replace Blueberry. He's not old, but he's getting up in years a little bit, and we don't breed that much from him anyway. Now, it seems like everybody's gone to. Seems like Jet has taken care of just about everybody except for Morgan and Sarah over here.
Dawn's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
She loves being petted.
Yeah, she's like her mama too.
So if you're gonna mess with my kid, you gotta pet me.
Okay, oops. There you are. Now you're in there. There you go, children. There you go. Alright. Moving over here, we've got Taffy. And these little guys are, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
These little guys are getting to the point where we get those tattoo needles in to where we can tattoo these guys. They can go into the grow out pen away from mama so she can be weaned, so she can start getting ready to be a mama again.
You're pretty black.
He's pretty plump.
They're all pretty plump.
He's a pretty plump bunny.
Okay.
He could use, I hope he grows in a little bit more density in that fur, but you know,
Look at this.
at this age we can just know that there's going to be much improvement in fur. See here, buddy. See here, yeah, look at them cookies. They look good. Cookies look good. Yeah, he's got the pinch in the hind quarter.
This one feels like
Nice and straight on the legs. Look at them little.
It's like, don't drop me.
Look at them little short legs.
It's like, don't drop me.
Yeah. Okay, what are you?
Have we checked these?
Yeah, I have, but this is a little doe. Yep, this is a little doe. Oh, I'm going to give you guys an update, folks. Okay, you ready for a rabbit genetics lesson? Well, that's too bad because I'm not going to give you one. But what I am going to show you is we were talking about, look at this blue. You see this blue that looks opal? Look, that's not an opal. That is not an opal. This is a blue. But it has been affected by, I did some research online, and it primarily occurs with blues, self blues. Okay? And there is a gene evidently, and it's called a snowball gene, or the snowball effect, or whatever you want to call it. And basically what it means is you've got a self blue rabbit. When you're blowing that fur, you got a bunch of white hair in underneath there. Okay, see how you can see it showing through in places on this rabbit? That's the snowball effect, okay? And if you look up the snowball gene, Google it. Snowball gene or the snowball effect on self-blue rabbits or whatever, however you want, and you'll get some information about that. I did. I had a friend on Facebook, I guess it was, that tipped me onto what it was called. And then I did some research, and sure enough, I found pictures of exactly what is going on here. Now, they say that as soon as these animals receive or molt in their adult coats, that goes away, and they'll be normal, regular self-blues. But if that's the case, then that means you can't show any like that as juniors. But once they get their mature coat in, you could show them as seniors. Well, you know. Then there again, there's others that'll say, well, if you have that in your herd, you need to just cull it out. Well, I'm not going to breed this. If I have animals that are affected by this, I'm not going to breed them. And most likely, this little lady here will probably become somebody's pet. Now, if I tell somebody that they are affected by this, and tell them what I know about the snowball effect, and they still wanted to take a chance on her and maybe try to show her as a senior, that's, you know, I don't guarantee a rabbit for any particular purpose anyway. Who can guarantee a rabbit, you know, especially a junior, what it's going to do in the future? It can be a breeder, it can be a pet, it can be a show rabbit, but when they leave here, none of them are ever. Rarely are they ever old enough to have any real picture of exactly how they're going to turn out. Case in point, I recently had a black otter buck come back to me from out of Glow Stick and Smitty. And every time I pick that little guy up and I look at him and I ask myself, Chuck, why did you ever get rid of this rabbit? And it wasn't a simple matter of I thought there was anything wrong with him. It was a simple matter of, at the time, I didn't need a black otter buck. But, what was it, 2-3 months down the road after that, I lost Glow Stick, his mama. I depended on having her for a couple of years and more babies. Then something drastic happens and she has to be culled. We don't expect it, but it does happen, and I didn't plan for it. But I did get the opportunity to get that buck back. And you know, Ebony, or Little Black Doe, is out of Glow Stick as well. And I'm probably going to let the two get acquainted and see what a litter will look like out of the two of them. They are from different daddies, so they're not completely brother and sister. They just have a. Their mother is common to the both of them, but you know, it just means you can breed brother and sister pairs. Okay, people will say you can't. You can, but you better know what you're doing, because there's a lot of stuff, and you've got to be ready. If that rabbit is no good, you've got to be ready to put it down and get rid of it, okay? Because there could be a lot of stuff that are going to turn up. Putting those recessives together like that, you just never know, because there's good recessives and there's bad recessives. You want to keep the good ones, but you got to cull the bad ones, and you got to be prepared to do that. There's only one way to get rid of bad genetics, and that is to terminate the rabbit's life, okay? If you can't handle doing that, okay, if you think I'm evil for having to do that, then you don't want to be doing what I'm doing, okay? Because when you keep a rabbit in a cage, Mother Nature, or whatever you choose to call it where you are, is not controlling their course of evolution anymore. When you put them in a cage, you're responsible for who lives and dies. Because you can do things that is going to make a rabbit that would die in the wild. You can do things, baby that rabbit, or whatever needs to be done, medicated or whatever, and make that rabbit live. Okay, if that rabbit would not have lived in the wild, we shouldn't be keeping it alive in a cage. Okay? And that's just something to think about, okay? Breeders are not intended, well, I mean, in the wild, God is going to, or nature, or however you choose to say it, is going to cull the herd, naturally. When you put them in a cage, they're not in the wild anymore, okay? That same natural selection process doesn't necessarily occur the same way. Sometimes that natural selection has to be the breeder's decision, and knowing that that rabbit should not carry on that genetics onto any offspring. And you got to make sure that that doesn't happen. A lot of people will say, well, you can sell them as pets. Yes, you can sell them as pets. But if you don't have the capacity to neuter a rabbit, and you can say, okay, I'm selling this rabbit under the condition that you have it spayed or neutered, but do you really have the ability to make sure that that person actually does that after they leave your place with the rabbit? No. Okay? And I'm not going to have them. People are not going to pay me what a rabbit would cost if I took them and had them spayed and neutered and then sold them to somebody. They're just not going to do it. Okay? It's just, you know, it's just simple numbers, folks. And that's what it is. You're not going to get rich selling rabbits anyway. If you think you are, you're nuts. Okay? You might have good months where you can pay half your feed bill selling rabbits. The other times you're going to pay it all out of pocket, and you're going to feed a whole bunch of rabbits, and you're probably going to have to put some down because you've got so many that you can't afford to feed them all. That's just the way it happens here. Wait. Was that the rabbit genetics lesson? I'm sorry. Let's go see Jada. And this is the cage where I always get in the way because, yeah, it's on this end and I'm got to reach in this way. I guess first of all, looky here. It's a baby lightning. Yes, it's a baby lightning. It's a buck. Didn't I say it was going to be a buck? But I know I said it was going to be a buck. It's a buck.
But he is that face.
But he's a pretty little guy. He's got, you can't really judge width, but he has color. all the way around. Both eyes. Look at that. Now, I hope it gets thicker. I would like for it to be thicker. But this guy will most likely not be staying because we don't need another buck. We've only got one buck and one doe. We don't need another buck. We needed a litter of 3 or 4 does. That would have been nice, but I didn't expect it to actually happen. Miss Sally is, I think, pregnant again from her rebreeding. If not, well, we'll just try again. Not in any real big hurry. These guys grow up pretty quick, so I mean, even if we had something born in January, we could probably still show some of those in March and April. They seem to grow up pretty quick. Don't quote me on that though, but he's growing pretty fast so far. Okay, buddy.
He's giving kisses.
He is.
Yeah, he's giving kisses.
Look at that blue. Jada throws some good blue. Jada throws good color on everything, but look at this. Look at the nice whip. Jada just might have some in here that I want to look really close at. I'm not sure. Can't say, and it's really too early. These are even younger than Delilah's, I think. Litter down there. But this color is just excellent. I'm tickled to death with it. Let me see here. Do we have... Yep, that's another little snowball. So evidently Jet may be throwing those. So we're just going to have to be careful and cull those out. But isn't that a shame? Look at that. Look at that. Look at how dense that fur is at this age. But anyway, that's a little snowball. Let's see if I can tell. I don't know if I've gender checked any of these or not. Okay, that's a little buck.
You want to put it in here and drink the rest of them? Maybe if that one stays in there.
So, little lightning there, and then that little blue. Let's see. Well, who we got up here? Come here, buddy. What happened to the lilac? I thought we had a lilac.
I don't know.
Did it turn blue?
Probably.
Here's a little black.
Whoop. It's escaping.
Oh, you got another crusty.
It's escaping.
Oh, you got another crusty. Little rascal.
They're running away.
See what we have here. A little black here. Naturally black. You'll notice I don't get that excited about blacks. I think that's a little doe. You'll notice I don't get that excited about blacks, but that's just because, well, it's the most common thing to come out of any of the bloodlines that we have out here is the black. So you remember me saying something about Tag throwing chocolate? Look at this chocolate. I don't know. I ain't gonna swear to it, but I am gonna look this guy over really close.
Fur though.
Huh?
So that fur though.
Look at
Looks good.
Yep. And it's only gonna get better. I mean, this is baby fur. What are they? 3 weeks, a month old, something like that?
Yeah.
This is only gonna get better. And I think that might be a little doe.
Yay!
Not that we really need another chocolate doe,
Nope, stay in
but
there. Get in there.
continuous improvement. There's always a chance out with the old and with the new. So, Fiona, you better straighten up over there. You got some competition over here.
Fiona.
You hear me talking to you?
You better move, kitty.
I can't remember. One of these, I think Jada had one buck and three. 1 buck and 3 does. But I haven't found a buck yet, I don't think. He can just wild away.
Goodness. You don't want to go down there.
Cover now. Settle down.
Spook
Settle
will
down,
have you
little
for
buddy. Yeah, Spook will get you if you get on the ground down there. Look, you can hear her meowing down there. She's just ready to snatch something for breakfast.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you throw it down there to her. Anyway, there's Jada's. There's the other little. So two blacks, a chocolate, and a blue.
Yeah.
And I sure hate that blue's got that snowball effect.
Come here. Come here.
I might have to try to do something different. I like the babies that Jet is throwing to this point, but if he's going to throw a lot of those, if a number of his blues are going to have that snowball effect in their coat, I'm not going to.
There you go.
I might have to think about doing something different.
We just quit.
There you go, little buddy. Well, folks, is that our mini Rex update?
Yeah.
I guess that's about all the update we have for you right now. On, I think everybody's either got babies or they've got babies on the way. Well, Ebony's not bred, but now that we got the little black otter buck, his name is Elvis, and now that we've got him, they are going to be getting acquainted shortly. But I'm going to have to figure out who's going to. Somebody's going to have to go because we're running out of cages out here. So, anyway, folks, like, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Ring the bell.
Ring the bell, ding, ding, ding. Y'all have a great day. God bless.